All right, we're going to look at the last lesson in this chapter, which is dividing decimals by decimals. I've created the materials for this so that it matches really closely what we've seen from part. What we're going to do is not do like the slide divide trick, because that doesn't make sense to students, like why we're sliding our decimal point. Like, it doesn't make sense that we're multiplying by 10 or by 100 or by 1,000. So what we're going to do is actually write it out this way that I'm circling here. We're going to write it as a fraction first, and then because we always want to divide by a whole number, I'm going to multiply either by 10 over 10 or 100 over 100 or 1,000 over 1,000 so that my denominator always becomes a whole number. Let's look at example 1. Oh, actually, let's look at our right pair share first. So like we have to build this concept of like, well, if you multiply by 10 over 10, you're actually multiplying by something that's equal to 1. So like you end up with the same answer. So we're going to have students do like a quick right pair share. 6 divided by 2 is 6 over 2, which is 3. Same thing with 60 divided by 20. 60 into 20 separate groups. You'll have 3 in each group. Same with 600 divided by 200. 600 into 200 different groups. You have 3 in each group. What did you notice about each of the quotients? Well, each of the quotients is equal to 3. What do we notice about 6 over 2, 60 over 20, and 600 over 200? Well, they're all actually equal fractions. And then we want to show students this work, right? So like, I don't expect that students are going to write these two multiplication sentences out. This is where I need you to fill it in, but students should be able to answer these two questions here. All right, now that we've built that we can multiply 6 over 2 by 10 over 10, or 6 over 2 by 100 over 100 and still get the same answer. Now we can move to example 1. I'm dividing 1 and 56 hundredths by 1 and 2 tenths. Okay, so I always want to divide by a whole number because that tells me how many groups I'm going to have. Okay, 1.2 groups is really hard to visualize. I'd much rather visualize having 12 groups and splitting 15 wholes and 6 twelfths into 12 groups. So what I'm going to do is multiply by 10 over 10, which is equal to 1, so nothing changes, like the value is the same. Now I have 15 and 6 tenths divided into 12 separate groups. Then this work is very similar to the work that we've been doing all week long. Here again, I'm going to be multiplying by 10 over 10 because it's really hard for me to visualize what does 6 tenths split into 1.5 groups look like. Well, I'm going to instead have 6 wholes split evenly into 15 groups. Okay, here, like the work we did yesterday, well, I can't divide 6 wholes into 15 different groups, so I need to regroup the 6 wholes into 60 tenths. Once I regroup this as 60 tenths by annexing a 0, then it's easy for me to see, well, I have 4 tenths in each group. The next one's a little bit different because we're multiplying by 100 over 100. So now I end up getting, when I multiply 5 tenths by 100, I have 50. Okay, like that's going to be the only new information that we're practicing here. Here you have to annex 2 zeros. Next one, very similar, we're multiplying by 10 over 10. We have 4, so this is the first time that students will see like a whole number divided by a decimal. We end up getting 40 divided into 16 different groups, and the division doesn't change. Continue talking about place value with your students, continue talking about like how we're regrouping and why we're regrouping. And then that's the end of the chapter.